We are. Who would have thought? Same day service. Hi, everybody. Capt here with this week's episode of Fearless Fight Live. Sorry, we're a little bit late. We were trying to bring our guests on board here. We do have a guest tonight, and a fun guest as it is. And we're going to specifically talk about what it's like down the road, because many people ask me the question, can you get over this? Okay. And this guest is going to be living proof that you can, and it gets better and better. So anyway, so we're excited to have everybody here tonight. And let me share my screen here.
Well, we're missing our lovely flight attendant, Diane, who is prepping for her current how do you call that, Eric? What is she worried about right now?
Annual recurrent training.
Annual recurrent training sounds scary, but I guess it's good for us.
It's good for us and scary for her.
Yeah, exactly.
So she's studying hard.
And that's an annual requirement for pilots, flight attendants, dispatchers, mechanics. Everybody that touches the airplane basically has to go through annual recurrent training at an airline. So that's what Diane's doing right now. Okay, and we want to make a quick mention of our Fearless Flight Birds of a Feather. It's continually growing, and lots of great participation there. You can follow along and see people who are both in various stages of overcoming their fear of flying. And you can get both given and receive information. We're going to talk about coaching tonight and emphasize that with our guest Maggie Diamond, who'll be on in just a minute. And again, you know, the thing about overcoming fear of flying, or recurrent training for that matter, is you got to keep doing it. You gotta stay connected, and it gets better and better and better if you keep working at that. As I mentioned, Maggie is a longtime follower, and she's going to come on here hopefully in just a few minutes. She'll be joining us, and we're going to talk about her experiences down there. You know, I've had done quite a few coaching sessions in the month of December here, because quite a few people are out there. If you're on the show tonight, if you would just leave us a remark there if you're planning to fly over the holiday season between now and New Year's, or just after that. You know, we're just curious where if people are flying and where they might be going, and let us know if this is a first flight since you've been working on your fear, or if you're you're getting to be a seasoned traveler and have flown multiple times. We're just curious about that. Of course, if you have any questions, please enter your questions here. Apologize for the cough. I'm getting back from whatever this stuff is that's been going around the country. As a matter of fact, I have some friends in Europe, and they were telling me that whatever it is, it's over there as well. And what do they call this? A triple threat? This the RSV, COVID, and now cold and flu. So anyway, people kind of let their guard down. I noticed in LA and a couple other places that people are advertising, or they're recommending that people wear masks again. So being interesting to see over the next 2 weeks if that changes things there. So okay, well, we'll let's just move on, talk about the coaching, where many of you should have received the email that we sent out. We're running a 50% off on the Clear for Takeoff 201 Global Online course up in the cloud. And we regularly sell that for $597. We've been running a special for $397, and right now it's half price. So we'd love to have as many of you as possible sign on with us. That's going to be the point of emphasis for my efforts in the first part of the coming year. Going to be adding a lot more content, more videos, and more vignettes for people to help you get current and stay current. Probably the best part about it is over the classes that we used to do live is it is on demand. And then again, as a reminder, we have monthly live coaching webinars for anyone who is enrolled in the course or people who have subscribed to our membership down the road, or if you just want to just attend particular coaching sessions. The next one is this coming Thursday night. We highly recommend, you need to educate yourself. You need to work on finding a way to disrupt and distract your thinking to get you on the airplane as quickly as possible. And then you need to join a community because of the value of having others who understand what you're going through. And like I said, we'll be adding content. Here's the link to the special that Dieter's created there. So we've had quite a few people sign up. There's always room for more, and so we really would love to welcome anybody out there that can do that. Again, this is the session coming up just 2 days on Thursday, December 15th. I'm going to continue the theme talking about what you say when you talk to yourself, part 2, and in particular some hard specific coaching strategies and tools and techniques that you can use. As I mentioned, this is the link if you're interested in joining the Fearless Flyer Club. If you've ever been a member of the 201, you can join this, and when you're in the club, you'll get access to the live webinars and the 201 content. Otherwise, you can just join this, and of course, we have the app now that you can do it again. You can participate in any of the programs that we have online on demand through your mobile devices, which is the most popular way that people are doing that. We have 3 levels of membership: premium, first class, and then lifetime. And if you go to that link, it'll take you over there, and you can see what the various benefits are from each level of that. And then, as I mentioned, when you're a participant, you'll be taken to or directed to the App Store, where you can download our app and put it right on your phone so that you can do it live through there. And in particular, if you participate in the Fearless Flight Kit, you'll be able to download that onto your phone so that you have it when you're flying. So, okay, Maggie, you look like you're coming back.
Am I there or no there? Can you
Well,
see
we
me?
hear your voice, your lovely voice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
You're gonna
then
go.
that's what you're going to get.
And you know what? We'll take that because your best is far and away better than the average best. So we're gonna.
Oh man, I can't. I'm very surprised, but that's okay. I mean, it's.
That's technology, and
I know it's good.
Yeah,
it's fine.
it is. And you have a presence anyway. So I'll just, by way of introduction, I think you came to us about maybe 4 or 5 years ago now, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
And just for anybody just joining us, what where were you at in terms of fear of flying at that point in your life?
I just think I was probably going to be flying somewhere. It didn't matter where.
Yeah.
And I do remember it was like the middle of the night.
Yeah.
And I just put in fear of flying, something like that.
Okay.
So, and this all came up, and I thought, okay, well, I might as well try this, or something. I'm sure it's not going to work, but I'm going to try it anyway. Because
Right.
certainly what I'm doing for sure doesn't work. So I thought, well, let's see if I can take a class. So I
how long?
went on and I found you guys, and
Yeah.
and believe me, I wasn't, I don't know if people are, but I wasn't okay right away, for sure. I wasn't okay right away.
Sure.
We did some of the classes at Sky Harbor.
Right.
And then we took a trip to Burbank.
Right. You did the 201 class when we did it live before the pandemic, and then you took advantage of the 301 where we actually went from Phoenix to Burbank and back. When had you been, how long had your fear, had you noticed your fear? What, how far back does it go?
It doesn't matter. So far back, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
There were times even in my career that I would say, okay, here's what I'm going to do, because I wanted to be okay.
Yeah.
So if I win an award this year, I'm going to go to convention, which is in Las Vegas.
And you're talking about a sales award because you're a crack real estate.
Yeah, I'm on crack probably, but yeah. And of course, I won the award and I flew with a bunch of people I knew. And, you know, I was telling Captain Ron the other day that I got on that plane and I was scared to death. And they would talk to each other on the airplane.
Right.
And I thought, nobody talks on an airplane. I mean,
Right.
it's almost like we have to help the pilot fly it. We can't sit and talk like we're okay.
Right. We can't, we have to pay attention, right?
Yes.
This is serious business. Yeah.
Maggie, it's not like golf where when the guy's putting, you're not supposed to talk. It's okay. It won't make the pilots fly worse if you are talking. That's okay.
I know, believe me, and I've mouthed to many flight attendant, many. I'm scared. I mean, I've done it so many times. It's
Sure.
like stupid. I mean,
So what you're saying is you still identify yourself when you get on the airplane that you know that you have a little bit of nervousness about flying and
not now,
pardon?
not now.
Oh, okay. Now you're good. Yeah. But that's what you did to start with and
Yeah.
just open it up.
No, I just couldn't be okay. You know what? I don't care. My aunt told me, put your right foot first, you touch the side of the doors, you say something when you get on the, you know, I mean, none of it worked.
Yeah.
So, but then I came to this class and you know, Ron said one thing that really stuck to me, with me, planes don't just fall out of the sky.
Right.
So I just, for a while, all I kept saying to myself is, well, planes don't just fall out of the sky.
Sure. And that's a, you know, if I held this little guy up and I drop it, you know, of course it falls because it doesn't have any forward momentum and all that. And that, you know, and we're used to that, dropping pens or pencils or whatever, you know, we think of that's the same way that airplanes work, but it doesn't work like that because it takes forward momentum. And the you know, to me, one of the most marvelous things about aviation is the reliability of the jet engines and all that, you know, as long as I got something to push me through the air to get me to altitude, I'm golden. And even in worst case scenario, which we talk about, but it isn't really the worst case scenario. If we lost power, you know, the airplane's going to glide because we can use our altitude, convert it to airspeed and keep the wings over or keep the airflow over the wings. So falling out of the sky, or as Eric and I refer to it as plummeting, that just isn't a reality in aviation. And so you had some mechanical triggers, right? That when you thought about, you know, things quitting, like the airplane falling out of the sky.
Yeah, I mean, the minute there was turbulence, that was the end of me.
Yeah.
And,
And you and I checked
what?
it. Oh, go ahead.
You know, just taking the class and seeing if I could calm myself down, not being on an airplane. So, you know, so really listening and then getting the tapes and you know, I can't remember what you call the tapes. What do you call it?
Yeah, the FearlessFlight harmonizer.
Yes. Okay. So I would play the harmonizer. The whole plane could hear me, but I just would blast it so that I wouldn't hear anything else.
Yeah.
And you know, in a short period of time, just listening to the tapes, watching the meetings and just going through all those motions, I have to tell you, I'm okay flying, and it just sounds stupid even when I say it.
Yeah.
It really sounds stupid. This year, I went to Toronto, I went to Dominican Republic, I went to Jamaica, and several trips to see my children in California.
Sure.
And I literally I know if you guys are anything like me, you're saying this one's full of shit because you don't feel like you're going to do okay. And I literally get on the plane and sometimes I'll talk to someone and I can tell that they have a fear because they don't want me to talk.
Right.
And I feel bad because, and sometimes I say, oh, I was just like you. And they're like, shut up. But I'm telling you, if you stick with it, it's so crazy. I don't even know how I got over it. I just stuck with it and I got over it.
Well, your attitude, you have a great attitude for one thing. And you know, I say that the only way you can fail is if you don't have persistence. You know, if you keep at it, you're gonna get better. And because you got to get on the airplane in order to get better. But you did. I mean, you're representative of people that really worked hard in that. And so you know, when you fly, it sounds as though the airplane is now just a vehicle to get you to from point A to point B. It doesn't represent any of the obstacles that it used to represent to you.
Well, I can tell you that when I went to Toronto, we got on the airplane, it taxied, it came back, and they said, get off.
Oh, yeah.
We're not going out again for 24 hours. Now, normally I would have gone home and just said, I'm not doing it. That's a sign.
Sure.
And
that would have freaked you out before, because you would have equated, no matter what was wrong with you would have said, okay, that can't be safe to get back on that airplane, right?
Right. Yeah. And so I found some people that didn't live in Phoenix. I mean, I do, but they didn't. So they were stuck. And I said, let's just stay in the airport. And we stayed in the airport. We left all night. I mean, it was as cute as could be.
Well, I can't imagine a better social director than you, Maggie.
Having so much fun. And then we got on the plane, like, okay, let's go.
Yeah. And I think what you shared with me before is it turns out it was a staffing problem. They simply didn't have the people, the crew to fly the airplane.
Yes. Well, that's what they said. Normally, I would have gone home and just said, yeah, they lie anyway. They're not going to tell us the truth.
Right.
The plane isn't going to make it.
Yeah. So again, you know, just to kind of recap, you know, you represent somebody that, you know, that said, you know, I got to do something different, because if you don't do anything different, it's never going to get any better. And you showed up, you learned some things that to help get rid of and dispel some of the myths that you had about flying, which is always problematic for people. And you found out that you know, it was okay that we didn't have a sign, you know, it wasn't like a library where you couldn't talk once you're on the airplane. And for you, I can't imagine you being speechless, Maggie, for one thing. But you know, I think what, you know, you're probably spreading a lot of cheer around you now with people who otherwise, you know, might be falling victim to the same thing, you know, thinking that, okay, I got to keep quiet and I got to put all my energy into hoping that this thing works there. So anyway.
Yeah. Sometimes they put their hand up, like, stop talking, because they're so scared.
So for people who ask me, you know, when they say, can I ever really get over this? Can I ever really enjoy it? What would you say to them?
Well, you know, and it really is funny, because I don't want to admit it, but I really think I enjoy it. I really do think I enjoy it when I get on the plane. My phone doesn't ring. I don't have to work. I mean, there's a lot about it that's very cool. Yeah. So I say, look, I came to this program scared to death. Yeah. And I'm not afraid anymore. I don't even know how it happened. I mean, like, it happened. I can't even tell you how, but I just stuck with it. I listened to the tapes. I said, they can't be that full of shit. They must, I mean, this must work somehow. And I kept trying, and things changed in me. They really did change.
Yep. And I'm thinking that you might be one of the people that we caught sleeping and one of the legs coming back too. You know?
No. No.
All right. Well, anyway. I really appreciate you coming on, Maggie.
Thank you so much. Thank you for everything. It changed my whole life.
You're welcome. Let me see if Dieter's got anybody that's got any questions for you or comments here.
I don't have any direct questions. There were lots of hearts, and all I want to say, Maggie, is the next time you come up to Toronto, and I know we messaged, but next time definitely message me before you come here.
I will.
We'll go for a coffee or have fun at the airport.
Yeah, exactly. Can I stay on the meeting?
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. Yeah. We're about to wind up. We covered a lot of the stuff that we were going to cover.
Okay,
before you got on.
awesome.
Yeah, but you're always welcome, Maggie. And I'm
Mhm.
so glad. I hope you have a great Christmas. And again, I want to
Thank
thank you
you.
for coming on here. Do we have anything else, Dieter? Any other open wounds or anything that we need to heal?
No, there's one question about de-icing. So let me just go back here. Okay, so the question basically is how long after my plane has been de-iced is it safe to take off? I've been waiting on the tarmac for 25 minutes once, and somebody expressed concern about the plane refreezing, and I think we had a similar question not that long ago.
Yeah,
Eric.
Eric, you want to talk about that? About de-icing?
Sure. So we used to guess the pilots. Yeah, that's good. And we don't do that anymore. Now there's an extremely structured framework for the timing of when fluids are applied, whether it's a one-step or two-step process. And there's an extremely structured framework for the type of precipitation falling at the airport, whether it's snow, ice pellets, that sort of thing, whether it is, and the rate, how heavy it is. And all these things are taken into account. You say, well, how do you know that at night? Even in night, with the visibility is limited at night, they have tables to translate how far you can see in the precipitation that translate to a precipitation rate. And you go into a table and it tells you what we call it is the holdover time. That's the amount of time you can wait from the finished application of the fluid or the second de-icing, the finished application of the fluid before you can go the holdover time. And we have an extremely accurate window of time that tells us that there's no guesswork involved, and it's widely variable depending on the temperature and the precipitation rate and those sort of things. So we're not guessing. And Ron's got it.
If you can see it, Eric, you can maybe
Yep.
just kind of a generic one. People can see that there's the visibility that you were talking about up there, and because the visibility is correlated to how much moisture is in the air.
Yeah.
And then the types of thing. As Eric said, it's very precise now. And when you can imagine when we have, depending on how many machines they have pumping this ethylene glycol antifreeze all over your airplane, depends on how long it's going to take. But we start the time at the beginning of it, right, Eric? And so that yes. So we're very conservative on that. And once we get done, if you don't get airborne prior to that time and the conditions persist, then you got to go back to the de-icing facility and
start over. Let's start over.
Yeah. And once we get airborne, it doesn't, the only surfaces of the airplane that end up getting any icing are the leading edges of the wings primarily. And because, at the speeds we travel, the airflow over the wings, it doesn't have time to stick on that. So it's, but as Eric said, it's a lot of, like everything else, a lot of advances made in that. We made some mistakes in the past and had some problems related to that. And we don't do that anymore. No,
and once in the air, we have de-icing equipment on the airplane of all the forward surfaces that might accrue ice, the engine cowl lips, the wings, and so on and so forth. So once we're moving, that's not an issue anymore.
Yeah, and we call and they actually de-ice and anti-ice, so we can keep it. We can take it off if it were to accumulate, and we can keep it off by virtue of It's one of the things where we take hot engine air off the compressor section, which is part of the propulsion of the airplane. We run that out through ductwork and heat the leading edges of the wing. So it really again, high tech and very advanced, and you don't have to worry about that. So that's probably as good a place as any to finish up tonight. And I hope if you're traveling, you'll keep us close in your hearts, and if you need any support or anything like that, You got the Birds of a Feather, you got our page, our flight page, and you got, you know, all the resources that we've got out there, plus just email in any one of us and let us support you in the best way that's the most appropriate for you. So Eric, thanks again. We're coming up to the year end and our 5th anniversary. Dieter and I were talking about when we got up there. So Dieter, thanks for hanging in there with me all these years. Diane, we'll wish her well in her recurrent. And Maggie, once again, thanks for the courage coming on and telling your story, and keep flying. All right.
All right.